Welcome to Chalk Out, a podcast that gives you access to the ideas and perspectives of education leaders who are reimagining how we learn in an AI-shaped world. In this episode, we dive into a wide-ranging conversation with the Vice Chancellor of Plaksha University, Punjab, about the future of learning and bold experiments reshaping education. Welcome to Chalk Out.
Thank you.
We're calling our podcast Chalk Out, and our real idea is to find out, hey, if the future is so uncertain and technology really can guide us navigate it, then let's ask the education leaders who are already at it. And that's how we reached you, Professor.
Sure, thank you, Swati.
Welcome.
Pleasure to be on this podcast.
We are here at Plaksha at your very own campus, and if you allow me, I'll read out a little bit of introduction for our audience.
Sure.
Well, Professor Rudra Pratap here is the founding Vice Chancellor of Plaksha University, and we are here a new age tech university. Before being here though, Professor has spent 25 years and been the Deputy Director of Indian Institute of Sciences, Bangalore, and also the founding chairperson of the Center for Nanoscience and Engineering there. He's a pioneer in the field of micro and nano electromechanical systems. I knew I will not be able to say nano electromechanical systems in one go, so there we go. Professor Rudra Pratap has been associated with the IISc. As I said, he has been invited at EPFL, Switzerland, and he has also taught at Sibley School of Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering, Cornell University. Sir, you research in computational mechanics and mechanobiology. Fantastic. Just the words sound like we are about to marry some disciplines.
Right.
He's an elected fellow of the National Academy of Engineering and National Academy of Science. I could go on. Sir has published about 250 papers in peer-reviewed journals. He's an author on around 18 patents. And he's our guest here today, and I'm about to learn a bunch about what's happening in ed and tech.
Sure.
So thank you for this opportunity. And let's go. Let's get into it. How is the fifth year now?
Yes, this is the fifth year.
How is the fifth year going at the New Age Tech University?
Couldn't be better. This is amazing what we have been able to achieve in short 4 years, starting from scratch, brick and mortar.
Yeah.
You know, when I got here in 21, right in the middle of COVID actually.
Exactly.
It was still a dug up campus. And we had just about one lecture hall in this entire building.
Is that right?
and probably one floor for faculty and staff, and that's about it. That's what we had. And starting from
that's
there.
Fantastic, yeah. Because I just entered a sprawling campus.
There you go.
Yeah.
To the sprawling campus that you just saw, what you will discover slowly is there is an sprawling intellectual campus behind it. And that's the one that interests me the most, that what's going on.
That's the one I
in these
hope to
buildings.
glimpse, yeah.
So yes, you know, our first batch has graduated.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. We had our convocation just recently. And it was so heartening and so gratifying to see all our graduates going out in the world.
Of course.
Right?
Of
First
course.
graduates. And the industry has given thumbs up to our effort. You know, whoever wanted to get a job has gotten a job, and a good job, you know, not just a job. Our offices are called career, you know, office, not a placement office.
Oh, fantastic.
We
Yeah,
look
no,
at
it
careers.
matters.
And a whole bunch of students got so interested in research that they have gone for higher ed. You know, almost 28% students have chosen to go for higher education.
Well, that's a big
Masters, PhD, and in all top universities. And it's because it's by design. It's not by default or, you know, left to its own vices. You know, we integrate research from first semester into undergraduate curriculum.
One would expect that. Yes, I've been reading up on Plaksha, and you do say you reimagine undergraduate studies.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I would love to know more about integrating research, because not everybody, at least in the country, is coming from a high school where they had too much exposure to what research even is.
Right.
Really.
Right. And it's not just about integrating research. It's about seeding that incredible intellectual curiosity in students, which is what research is about. The scientific research perhaps differs from other research in the sense that, of course, you have to have a keen sense of observation for any research.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, what area. But scientific research requires that you have very careful documentation of whatever you do.
Yeah.
And that, whatever you find, your findings are on solid principles.
Of course. Yeah.
That somebody else can also repeat and see.
And build on. Yeah.
And build on. Right? So, when you have faculty members who are practitioners of the art.
Yes.
And you let them loose on students.
Right.
That you don't limit themselves to only teaching a curriculum.
Of course.
Right? And you actually encourage them to bring their research to the classroom.
Right.
It doesn't matter whether it is first semester class or 8th semester class. It automatically gets built into your students' thinking.
Yeah.
Right? And then you give them opportunities to work with professors right from first year. We have deliberately built that into Plaksha curriculum through a project-based course, which is only project. That's it. That's what it is. And it's all through 8 semesters. It's called Innovation Lab and Grand Challenge Studio.
Oh, so it sustains a bit.
Yes.
Like it's not one of those things that
No,
you're supposed
semester after semester. So, it is possible for a student to take up a serious research problem.
Exactly, yeah.
Or take up entrepreneurship. You have an idea for building a product. By 3rd year, you should have your company started right here, because there is entrepreneurship center. You can start that. We even have provision for giving students up to 1 year leave in between.
Now we're reimagining.
That
All right.
if you want to, go ahead, work on your company. You don't have to drop out of school.
That's like showing a lot of faith.
Absolutely. So it's by design.
I see.
So it's not a wonder that even with our first batch of students, we had at least 6 papers published with these students in international journals, undergraduate students.
Yeah.
They have presented in several international conferences. Imagine that this is first year batch, right?
Yeah.
Which came here and we were still building our laboratories. Right?
Yeah, you did say that. Yeah, that
so
in 2021 we were
yes.
just one lecture hall.
That's
strong.
right.
Yeah.
Our labs came online just 2 years ago, research labs. But it also tells you that you don't need always full-fledged infrastructure to do such things.
Right.
Right? It's the fire in the belly.
Of course.
And
I love this story of the first batch. And in fact, later on, I had planned to ask you, Prof, that as a batch after batch goes out, and universities do tend to keep a track on the career progression of their alumni base. And I would have asked you later, hey, how do you plan to record that? But now it seems that there is investment going to be in that direction, mental investment about, hey, how this product of ours, so to say, how is it doing in the market? And it'll be great to see in the coming years how Plaksha's alumni do batch
absolutely.
after batch.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And also exactly how do you plan to measure it? Because if you don't do education regularly, so to say, I'm sure you won't be measuring success by the regular matrices. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, indeed. We have several plans. As a matter of fact, something which might sound absolutely ridiculous to you, but
try me.
Teaching evaluations, right?
Hey, that's regular.
right?
Yeah.
So teaching evaluations are typically done at the end of the class, right? At the end of the semester, students fill up a form,
Yeah, right.
and that's what is used for teaching evaluation. We have a plan to do teaching evaluation over 20 years.
Wow.
Over 20 years. So
I had so many questions suddenly.
That evaluation which is done at the end of the semester,
right,
you are getting evaluated by kids, right, who are about 19-year-old, 20-year-old, about a subject which has just been taught.
Right.
They don't really know the full import of what that course is really going to mean to them, right?
This is great. So you're saying the impact the professors made on you,
right,
which you're now able to tell 10 years out of college.
There you go.
Oh, that's going to be great.
So we are going to measure this. First of all, we're going to ask our students to fill up forms at the end of 4th year. That what in 4 years they remember, right? Which courses, what in particular courses, have impacted them.
Got it.
Then after that, 5 years after that, we are going to have this review again. 5 years after that, we are going to have the review again. And at the 20th year is when we want to see if they remember anything. Not about the hostel life, and not about, that any topic, any discussion, any intellectual discourse that took in the university, in any class, what kind of impact it had on them.
Right. This really is like measuring the soft impact and quantifying it.
That's what is going to be used for evaluating professors.
Great. This also seems like a very good way of truly making a community, because they'll all be associated.
Absolutely.
Through those forums, through those evaluations. And all this collection of, the right kind of data, even to think of what should be asked. It has always, for the last 2 years at least, really interested me, because of course all our lives have suddenly become all about data. Every pulse is being recorded. We are saying yes and no to data being collected all the time. So when I enter a new age tech university campus, I am just thinking to myself, they must be collecting data of all sorts, and they must have plans of collecting data, and just the word is so ubiquitous and it's used everywhere. And now you're telling me about evaluations that you hope to collect up till 20 years at least. I want to know, how is this baked into the foundation? Is this part of reimagining? Is this part of how the IT system of Plaksha was designed? Is it, when you say university as a system, how much of, is this a data-based life that students reside in here? I want more clarity on how is living here for 4 years different from what's anyway happening outside.
Right. So many things in our life we do, we don't record, right? We don't record. Many a times you are left wondering, what did I do then? I wish I could remember what was my conversation, whatever, right? That doesn't mean that you want to record every single thing, right? The crux, Swati, in technology world today is that you need to still treat humans as humans, okay? Not as data objects.
Indeed.
Right? So we can get a lot of insights into human behavior, into human physiology, health.
Of course.
Lots of things, right? From data. No doubt about that. But you still have to treat the human as a human, and that's the challenge we have. That how do you, so when you say that when students come here, are you recording everything, are you, right? No, because you don't want them to become so conscious of it that the very thing that you want to measure gets impacted by this awareness.
Yes,
right?
Indeed.
So you want to do this in very subtle ways, and yet if you want to take data, you need explicit permissions, right? So both
Disclaimers,
these
yes.
worlds have to coexist. So, the basic element in this is trust. That do you establish that trust with your students that, hey, look, we'll be tracking such things, right?
Yeah.
And would you allow us,
Right.
to track certain things about you? Now, why would I let you track me if I don't trust you?
Or if I don't even see the benefit
Right,
of.
right. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, both, right. So, benefit, of course, needs to be explained. That benefit need not necessarily be just to you personally. The benefit is to society at large. The benefit is to community, right?
Yeah, it definitely goes beyond
That's
yourself,
right, individual.
for sure.
Right? So, let me give you one example that we started this year.
Sure.
So, students, I strongly believe that we have to have a lot of emphasis on physical and mental fitness of students.
I couldn't agree more.
You know, at a tech university, you would expect the vice chancellor to talk about, AI and robotics and stuff, and here I am talking
Very
to you
much,
about
actually.
physical and mental fitness. So, let me assure you that the tech part worries me very little because we know how to do it.
Great.
We are on the top of it, right? So, that's my least worry. How will my students get educated in the new age technologies, how well they do it? My least worry, because there I have a huge arsenal here, my faculty members,
Right.
and their dedication and their commitment
Right.
to seeing to it that our students are well equipped with the skills. But that's not the end of it. That's a small part of it. Today's world looks for very different kind of engineers. And when I say that,
Yeah.
right,
You could almost read the question on my
I
face.
can see that you are going to ask, unknown world, unknown careers. How do you prepare them for that? Well, so I'm not really so worried about the skills part.
I see.
Those hard skills, right? That technical skills.
Right.
That we know how to impart. That we know how to do.
Okay.
There are lots of other skills that students will need for tomorrow's world. One of the skills which is slipping out,
Mm-hmm.
or I wouldn't call it a skill, but a very strong attribute. Yeah.
Okay.
Aptitude, call it, attribute, call it, is mental resilience.
Oh, yes.
Okay? Emotional resilience. And circumstantially, just the way society has evolved in the last 20 years, there is a huge challenge in our society on that front. It's not just us, it's a global challenge. I go and talk to presidents to different universities and I get the same kind of feel that there is a lot of stress among kids today. College going students, the stress, the anxiety levels are very high.
Very high and visible.
Right? And the outlets are much fewer for them to express their anxieties, or so it looks like trained psychologists are in great demand.
Yeah, they are,
today's
of
world.
course, especially post-COVID. But what do you mean by they have less outlets than?
Just imagine when I was in college, we used to hang out with people, real people.
Yeah, of course.
Not
okay,
in,
that's what you mean.
Not in virtual world and not glued to screens, right? We used to hang out, we used to play so much, right? Sports was so integral to our life. Evening means you go and play, right? as simple as that. And you come back, and even in college, you know, you hang out with your friends for a few hours,
Yeah.
and you know, then study for a couple of hours,
Yeah.
right? That kind of thing. That whole system has broken down.
That's shaking.
Society, families, everybody is becoming so insular. You know, this is not the society we knew or we grew up in. In one generation, so much of change, it's just too much to absorb. You know, every system has a characteristic time scale at which it responds.
Yes.
Societies and cultures don't respond so quickly.
Indeed, yeah. In fact, we were just chatting about that before you came, that how we haven't responded as fast as technology has grown.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
today, you know, in India, we are not used to living in apartment complexes where you don't know your neighbor.
Yeah. Yeah.
We used to know the whole village. If you grew up
Sure.
in a village,
Yeah.
everybody is uncle, auntie, or something or the
Yeah.
other, or bhaiya or bhabi, right? Everybody, the whole village is your relative.
Yeah. In
You
social
don't-
sciences, we
yeah.
call it fictive family.
Correct.
Everybody, you refer to them with names of, address them as family members.
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Even neighbors. Yeah.
So from there, this change is incredible change where you don't even know your neighbor. And then inside the family, look at the dynamics inside the family. You know, father, mother, you know, kids, all on their own cell phones. This is a change in
It's a
mere
change.
20 years.
Yeah.
Incredible change. Sociologists don't know what the full impact of this is. We don't know what the full impact of this is. So the emotional resilience that you build through interactions with other human beings and by learning from that, you know, from various ages, right? You have uncle, aunts, grandfather, grandmother, and you know, a whole bunch, right?
Of course. Yes.
Fua, fufa,
Yeah.
you know, mosa, mosi, a whole bunch, right? So from there, the kind of training we used to get and the kind of emotional quotient
Yeah.
you developed is absent. So all of a sudden you are confronted with a generation that does not know how to deal with either failure or a no or a rejection of any kind. Most middle class kids today are pampered,
Yeah.
you know. So the net result of this is you are looking at a generation which is well off otherwise, but has no mental toughness whatsoever. Now, mental resilience or mental fitness also comes only in a physically fit body. You know,
Yeah.
you need that too, right? You remember?
There's no way to refute that.
Right.
Of course.
Yeah.
Correct.
A
Yeah.
sound mind and a sound body, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And today you see that students or kids don't play as much as they used to. So that bothers me so much. So I started saying this, and I told you that we are doing an experiment, you know, starting this
Yeah.
year. So we said every single student, we are going to track their physical fitness and mental fitness. And how do we do that?
Oh, yes. How do you do that?
Right? How do you do that? Now, every student has to take a fitness test, right? But it's individual fitness test. It's not, you know, you are going to run 100 meters.
Got it.
I'm going to run 100 meters. But I'm not being compared to you. I'm comparing myself. My 100-meter timing is being recorded, and it will be recorded at the end of the semester again. And
That's
at the end
great.
of the next semester, and at the end of next semester. In your 4 years, how much you have improved
Yeah.
on your stamina, right? So, stamina, your strength, your quickness, right?
Yeah, and it's awesome side effects.
Right.
Yeah,
Correct.
because being fit comes with many, many benefits. Just,
Precisely.
for example, not getting tired doing your chores.
Right.
That
Right.
really matters. Yeah,
Absolutely.
fatigue.
Fatigue,
This
right?
is one of those data points that I'm smiling year to year right now. I'm like, this is how this is meaningful data to collect.
Correct.
This is
And it's individual. So
right.
you are competing against yourself. You are not competing with your neighbor.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Right? You have to be fitter than you were yesterday.
Great.
That's your challenge, right? And it goes into in your transcript as well, that how much you improved.
Right.
Right. So similarly, we are setting up this whole human machine interface lab. Okay.
Human machine interface lab.
Human technology lab,
All right.
which we call it. So there the idea is to also assess mentally in what space you are, and you can do that with lots of just gestures on your face, right? How your facial expressions, etc., right? Again, you as the individual, you are the focus. So we want you to be better than what you were yesterday, not.
This is great. You're full of surprises, Professor. This is. I mean, I came here thinking, okay, here we go. We're going to talk about all the tech that's in Gen Z language, all the tech that is teching here. But no, there's so much more happening. You seem to be equally focused on the emotional, mental part of your students.
Absolutely, right?
Great. And does that, of course, I'm sure you must be doing this because the rationale is this is one of the things which prepares them for the future, which I can see is unknown. They know pretty well that is quite unknown.
You said it, right? You said it. That for the future, which is so uncertain, the jobs are uncertain, in that, how do you prepare the students for that future?
Yeah.
This is an integral part of that.
Yeah.
Let me give you another example along the same lines.
Right.
That we have courses in communication. Okay?
Yes.
Now, I have heard India Inc. saying that engineers are terrible communicators. They don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to communicate. Point well taken. So what do you do about that, right?
Train them.
So train them. Train them in what? Is it about just speaking? Is communication just about speaking? So we ask that question to ourselves, that what is communication about? A few hours of discussion, and the result is a lab called Center for Thinking, Language and Communication. Okay. Any communication, right, originates in a thought.
Damn right it
that
does.
You have.
Yeah.
And then you have to have a proper language to express that, what kind of connection you have with your thought and that language. That needs to be established.
Yeah.
And then ultimately you are communicating. Okay? So let's say that we have got that. So the professor who is in charge of that, is director of that lab, he came and told me once that, okay, so we are in a tech university and this is training in communication, so this is like a side thing for engineers. And I said, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
This is as foundational as differential equations or linear algebra is to engineers. This is
great.
as foundational as that. I treat this as important, and therefore this is not one of those side things that we do. This is one of the main things that we do.
That's great. Right there, that's what is the differentiator then. How's it going though? How has the experience been in the lab?
I would invite you to go to the lab and see for yourself.
Totally,
it is full of surprises.
I would love it.
You wouldn't find anything like that lab in the whole world, I guarantee you.
Oh,
in the whole
cool.
world. I'm not talking
great.
about
That's
just
fantastic.
India. Just go and see for yourself.
I will. In
don't
fact,
want to-
while I was in the corridor, I met one of the faculty members, and it was amazing. She exchanged her card with me, and she said, "Hey, we're really passionate over here at Plaksha about women in STEM." And as is the VC, she said, "You will come to know." I'm like, "Okay, great." And just her energy and her sort of welcoming me into the place and for another conversation was, I was very surprised. I'm like, if this is the energy that's going into classrooms, something good is happening. And I'm
Absolutely.
sure you're doing this on purpose, right? There must be some parameters which are non-negotiables when you're hiring faculty. Because if the vision is so clear, then everything has to align, including who comes and interacts with the students.
Totally.
Tell me more
Totally.
about the faculty that you've gathered.
So of course we have a whole process for hiring faculty and seeing the alignment with the vision, etc. But more or less, Swati, you are always looking for people who are fired up from inside. They
Yeah.
want to make a difference. They want to make a difference. If they express that desire very sincerely, you immediately understand that they're not happy with the way things are,
Yeah.
right?
Status
And they
quo
want
won't do.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
They are ready to challenge, which is what we are doing at Plaksha, right? So that's the first thing that you look for,
Got it.
right? And that also tells you about the energy of the person. Of course, you take them through a whole process. We are usually told by parents and students that the admission process here is very long for students, okay? Very arduous process of admission. I wish they knew how the faculty are recruited. That's even,
Maybe they should know.
longer,
I
right.
think they'll feel everything was justified,
So, of course, you are building a world-beating university, and you don't do that by having just a regular kind of recruitment process. We go out of our way to find right faculty members with that kind of energy and passion, that comes to the classroom.
It does.
That's
I'm
what you
sure
want.
it must translate.
Yes,
It
Yes.
must. There's no way to miss that.
correct.
I mean, I couldn't miss it in 5 minutes of interaction.
So there you go, right?
Yeah.
And so you will see that same thing if you go and see the
Lab,
lab.
the
right?
communication lab. Yeah.
So we try to find faculty from across the world, okay, wherever they are, but we are looking for certain things in them beyond their degrees, beyond their pedigree, right? The global outlook, the global view of
Right.
things, right? Their understanding of where the world is today, what kind of uncertainties we are in, and how are we going to navigate this. Now, you as a professor, you are a coach for students, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not just about classroom. It's much beyond classroom. That's what university education is about.
Absolutely. Yeah. yeah.
University education is
You become
not
a
about
person
only
at the
classroom
campus.
teaching.
Yeah.
So the interaction that you have with students, which is going to last a lifetime,
Yeah.
what kind of interaction do you want your students to have with what kind of faculty?
Yeah.
That's what plays in my mind all the time when I'm looking for faculty.
And that must be why you've thought of the 20-year-long,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
evaluation, that long term. Because that's really long. I've really never seen that scope when it comes to
That's
a
right.
faculty eval.
That's right.
Great.
So
And about, sir, you just said university is not about classroom, but we've heard that so much. Yes, everybody's learned to say that. Hey,
Mhm.
university is not just about
Right.
classroom, it's about
Right.
much more. But it seems this whole, somebody becoming a person on the campus, because 4 years, it's already a privilege, frankly, to receive a good education, right? To be at a university like this, and now you have 4 years to develop self-awareness. That's a great opportunity. And how else should students be supported elsewhere, where they can probably not be supported all that much? That, hey, we'll test your mental fitness, your physical fitness, we'll try to give you all the best of faculty and everywhere. This can happen at select institutions, premier institutions. But we are looking at the entire society at the moment, right? Evolving and changing. Are there ways which you would say somebody could listen to this, our audience, maybe education leaders, and be like, yeah, this I could do tomorrow. This is actionable, and this might not require me to set up a lab. It might not require me to immediately hire the topmost faculty who can infuse that kind of drive into my students. What can be done if every resource wasn't available?
It's not that I have tons of resources either.
Yeah.
Right? It's a collective philanthropy organization.
Yes, I've read.
Continuously asking for contributions from philanthropists, right, to run the university. It's not the resources. It's the resources out here, right, which are the key.
The intellectual campus.
The intellectual campus.
Yeah.
So when you say that, somebody who is listening and could say that I could do this.
Yeah.
The very first thing I will tell, my colleagues around the world, get out of your comfort zone. In university, faculty members, if they don't want to get out of their comfort zone, they have no business telling students
to do so.
Yes. So practice what you preach. That's always something that I have held very close to my heart. Practice what you preach. I don't want to tell any student to do anything which I'm incapable of doing myself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Of course, we lived in a different time. Our students are going to live in a different time.
Yeah.
But there are some time invariant things that don't vary with time. Critical thinking.
Yeah.
Critical thinking. Now, critical thinking, when we say, the whole world is saying, everybody needs critical thinking, everybody. Do you teach just a course in critical thinking and you make people critical thinkers? I doubt it, right?
Yeah.
You learn those alphabets of critical thinking in a class, but you have to have enough opportunities to practice that critical thinking while you are on the campus. When you said that students are here for 4 years, in those 4 years they are on 3 different trains simultaneously, which are running at very high speed. You have personal transition happening.
Of course,
you are becoming an adult from an adolescent.
Yes.
And a whole lot of revolution inside your body is happening.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
That manifests itself in all kinds of expressions
Yeah.
that you may or may not understand. Who is making them understand this? Right? Should we leave them just on their own, which we largely do, but we have to help them in that process, right?
Yeah.
There's so much of confusion even in that process. So a university has to have a place. We have a whole wing for student life, right?
Oh, great.
And is the Associate Dean for Student Affairs looks after student life. Student life has lots of things baked into it, which
Everything.
looks after these kinds of issues, right? Personal growth that is happening. Our focus is on individual. To me, a student is not a roll number. The student is a live human being, the one that requires attention, care, love,
Yes.
all of that together to grow.
Yes.
Not just instructions in the classroom. And every day, Swati, I worry about this, that when the university becomes large, how do we scale this personal attention?
Yeah.
Okay, that's number one priority. So one is, personal change that is happening. The second is their whole network is changing from the parents' network, that's what they have lived in, to their own network. So social transition that is happening is huge. And I know that the networks that we built in our college life has lasted us whole life.
All our lives, yeah.
Right? So that social network, how to understand network dynamics, how to build a good network.
Yeah.
That is also something that we pay attention to. And the third is professional transition, where from being a student you are going to become a professional.
Yes.
And this is that skateboard, which gives you
definitely. All three trains are running at really high speed. This is
in 4 years.
Yeah.
In 4 years. And we are privileged as professors to be a part of that incredible 4 years of a young man or a young woman's life. You have to feel, whenever I think about it, I feel so humbled that God has given us such incredible opportunity to impact lives, right?
That's a very, very nice point of view, and such a kind one as well. I'm sure students here would feel that. See, if leadership is that invested in your individual well-being, it would show. It would show in policies. It would show in how everyone at university is interacting with you at all levels. Yeah.
So that's the journey that we are taking. And when you say that, what kind of suggestions I have for other people in similar universities or similar shoes, that's what it is. I would say that live out of your comfort zone, right? We are looking at very uncertain future, and that we won't be able to train our students by ourselves living in our comfort zones.
Yeah.
I have certainly left all my comfort zones and built such a beautiful center at Indian Institute of Science that anybody in their right mind would continue there and then enjoy the fruits of doing such hard work.
Right.
This
is from I entirely get it. One ought to show in their own attitude what they expect to see in students. And this is for let's say professors, academicians, scholars, and those leading universities. There are the education spaces even larger than that. There are tech companies that are trying to facilitate what you and other universities do, and then there are ed techs, which are very, very clearly and directly trying to enter into the learning domain, like how exactly learning is taking place and everything. Where do you say they should focus, and what's the best way they can give back?
I think edtech companies are focused rightly on specific skill building, right?
Smaller.
That is really well done if you focus on one thing, right? You want to teach somebody about deep learning.
Right.
There are techniques, right? There are techniques, XYZ, there are lots of recipes there. So those kinds of things can very easily be done today through tools,
AI
online,
tutors,
online, and edtech companies can marshal all those resources, all the tools to build a skill building course.
Right. Smaller packets.
Smaller packets, which we can take advantage of. At universities, we can take advantage of those, right? Because otherwise you are spending huge resources just on reinventing the wheel. That doesn't need to be done.
At all,
right? So, you know, just like, you know, we were talking about communication, you know, how do you communicate? That's a skill, right?
Of
that
course.
you can learn. How do you
Yeah.
communicate? Do you, you know, speak with deadpan seriousness and, you know, no facial expressions? Even then, you can be a very good communicator, right? It depends on what you are communicating. I've
About.
yeah, I have heard talks like that and fabulous, right? You know, completely deadpan serious. People communicate with their face, with their eyes, with their hands, right?
Yeah.
With gestures, all of that, right? So these are all styles of communication. These are all techniques that you can learn. But what to communicate is not a skill, it's education. What to communicate. And that's where universities matter. It's not a course.
Yeah.
It's a whole discourse of 4 years
Right.
of
Very,
living
very
on a
well
campus.
put. Yeah.
So it's same with tech education. Today, you know, deep learning you can learn from anywhere,
Anywhere.
right? Machine learning. you
And
know,
that's what we tout too.
those
Yeah.
skills you can learn anywhere. Why do you need to learn deep learning? What should you worry about when you are learning about this? What are the serious issues that society is confronted with where deep learning may or may not work for you? Where do you get that education? That's what universities are for. And you cannot replace that.
I really want to shout that from rooftops.
Thank you.
This
Thank
is
you.
this is what I came to listen to, frankly. Why do we? Honestly, I'm not the only one. With my friends, sometimes the question, "Are universities dead?" comes up. We're like, okay, everyone seems to think that they can learn on, ChatGPT. Anything under the sun, that's what we say. Learn anything, teach yourself stuff. And then the only thing left in this equation, very, very simplified equation, is hey, and now you also need social interaction to develop self-awareness and become a human being. So you can learn on ChatGPT and get some social interaction somewhere else, and voila, you've given yourself both the components of what university does. And there you go, you can make your own personal university. But
So far from the truth.
very far, right? Because composite of the parts is so much more whole and beautiful.
And to make matters worse, you know, I'm going to say something which is going to be controversial, but I'll say it nevertheless. That's why we live in universities. To make matters worse, some of the leaders of AI have been issuing statements like this, that the universities are no more required. And I feel like, just like their products, they are hallucinating now. You know, it's unbelievable that these people, it only tells me how narrow their thinking has become. Just because they're
Yeah.
so focused on one thing. You know, don't get me wrong, I have been an engineer all my life, right? And a live wire engineer. You know, I love engineering. But this is not engineering, what they're talking about. This is so narrow view of education. If anything, today universities are required far more than they were ever required.
Than they were ever, yeah.
You know, the kind of things that we are not able to give in our families, companies shout from the rooftop saying that we want plug and play engineers. You know, engineers which are coming out of universities are unemployable. Why are they unemployable? Because they want them to become productive from day one without giving them any specific training. So industries want to wash their hands off the training that they used to provide engineers.
Right.
When they join.
Correct.
For job specific requirements. They don't want to do that anymore. They want universities to do that.
Right.
Families are not able to make emotionally
Yeah.
resilient human beings anymore.
And not able to make time.
Because of that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Families are under pressure. It's not their fault, right? Husband, wife, both are working.
Right.
And if they're working in software companies, God only help them, right? It's like everybody's shouting that, it should be 80-hour work week or 70-hour, whatever it is, right? Where is the time for human beings, for kids, right? So then that responsibility falls on the universities too, on schools, on universities, right? So if the societies and the world we are dreaming of as a place where we thrive as human beings has to survive, universities will become even more relevant than they were before.
Yeah. When you put it like that.
That's what I think.
Yeah, I do feel, yes, in that explanation, it seems universities are doing the heavy lifting of,
Yeah, but it can't be, those traditional universities which were, only geared towards, courses, exams, courses. No.
Yeah.
Those universities will certainly perish. There is no place for such universities. Universities have to be far more imaginative and far more expansive in their way of looking at education and individuals. We are preparing citizens, world citizens, who will protect this planet, will protect societies.
Yeah.
Right. And for that, you need a different kind of education.
Right.
Different kind of university which can give that kind of education.
Well, I hope, Prof, that that's the kind of university you're building, and I think you're well into it.
We are into it, and it's not just about our university, right? For a country of our size, we need 100, 500 Plakshas, right?
Right.
I'm hoping that, some of the younger universities will take a cue from us. We want to build a working model that other people can see and say that, hey, it's doable. It's doable.
Correct.
Right?
Right.
It's doable. When you talked about resources, it's very easy to become dismissive and say that, oh yeah, Plaksha University, they have, lots of founders, they have tons of money. None of that is true, right? We do have, lots of founders, but money is never enough. That's the definition of money. It is something which is never enough, no matter what you want to do, right? You see all the Ivy League schools today.
Yeah.
Struggling.
Right.
Struggling,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So obviously, if you want to do quality things, you need resources. Those resources have to be marshaled in different ways. It doesn't have to come necessarily from money,
Here's the question which it's bubbling inside me. You do say we want to make a working model for, younger universities or other universities in general could take a cue from. My question is, what if they are bogged down by legacy systems? Because this is a greenfield project.
Yeah.
And of course, please do not think that I'm being dismissive. I'm absolutely in awe of Plaksha. But it's a little bit easier to do a greenfield project and build it and make it wonderful.
Yeah.
But if you've existed for the last 60 years and now you're old and as a system, how do you change that, and how do you make an old system new?
Okay, so the whole story for me began from there.
Okay.
So that's a different conversation, but I'll just give you a clue.
All right.
In my introduction, you read out that I was the founding chair of Center for Nanoscience and Engineering at Indian Institute of Science.
Right.
I invite you to go and visit that center. Okay?
Well, thanks. Okay.
Just do that. Indian Institute of Science is 116-year-old institution today.
Right.
1909.
And what a story.
In there, after 100 years of existence of Indian Institute of Science, we built something from scratch which was completely different than what Indian Institute of Science was doing so far. Completely different in every respect. The way it works, the way the the building is, the labs are, the faculty are, the culture in that place, everything. And that was my realization, that you can do anything in this country if you have the conviction and the perseverance. Conviction and perseverance are a must. And the third thing, which is very, very important, is you can't have a personal agenda. If you have a personal agenda,
Right.
then somewhere or the other, you are going to
Derail.
derail.
Yeah.
Right. So if you have that, and that's why I came to Plaksha. I said that if we can do something like that in a 110-year-old institute,
Correct. Yeah.
right? Something so greenfield, so to speak,
Right.
in intellectual space,
Yeah.
it was a greenfield. Imagine what you can do if you get a real greenfield.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
From all points of view.
Writing the rules, like you said.
And that's what, yeah, exactly. Writing the rules. The playbook of
Yeah.
technology education. And that's what Plaksha is. So I'm so enthused about this. So many people are involved, right? Not just our founders alone. There are so many academics from top universities involved in this university, right?
Yeah.
With their mind share,
Right.
incredible amount of mind share.
Right.
That how do you build a university for 21st century, right?
Yeah.
How do you do tech education for 21st century?
This makes me want to be, back in 2021 and watch you all and whatever team you had gathered back then. What were you all thinking? How did it go about? And yeah, there must have been the IT team and professors, academicians, like so much thought must have gone into it. Congratulations again. This looks great so far, and
Well,
I cannot wait to tour the rest of the campus.
Thank you on behalf of the all my colleagues and everybody. It's all collective effort. It's all collective effort. And in any place, when you give room for people to think freely, to express themselves freely, and you are able to take everybody's opinions, churn it right in front of them, right? Churn it around. It's like you put your idea on the table, I put my idea on the table. There are 10 different ideas, we are looking at it, and then we are discussing all those ideas, and the best idea is what we want to implement. If that spirit
That democracy.
is,
Yeah.
it's not just democracy, it's the spirit of being open to ideas which are better than yours all the time, right? No matter who you are,
Yeah.
you have to be able to disassociate yourself with the positions or the titles that you carry. And this is not a concept which is new. Bhagavad
isn't.
Gita
No,
teaches
yeah.
it, has taught it for thousands of years, right?
Right.
That hey, detachment, that it teaches you, right? And dedication, simultaneously going. If the world could understand this, then how do you
Yeah.
do this?
I mean,
Right.
if I could understand it, it would be great.
I started that journey in my college, trying to understand this, and I used to always read those lines and wonder about it and say, doesn't make any sense. How can that happen, right?
It's opposites.
Yeah. It took
You have to
me-
be invested to be dedicated.
right.
But then the moment you're invested, now it's personal, private.
Right.
And it's, yeah, like you said.
So where is detachment? It took, for me, it took almost 20 years to
I
understand
have time.
that.
All
No,
right.
but good thing will be that if I could understand in 20 years, you shouldn't have to spend 20 years.
Right.
Right?
Right. Exactly. But the conversation sort of drove itself. Would you mind if I look at some questions that I
Please,
had?
please go ahead. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Just in case something critical is being missed.
Certainly. Yeah.
Future problems won't respect academic department boundaries. So, is there something Plaksha has done to structurally integrate, like force almost meaningful integration between something like data and biology? I mean, everybody tries to do that through electives. Is there something else happening? Some amalgamation students are able to do by themselves? Like, are they? Do they have the agency?
Anything that you have heard like that, people do through electives or this and that, that's so passé. So you can take it for granted that whatever is tried out there, we don't do that. Okay, and it's not like I'm not here to sound like we are the smarty pants who know how to do things. We think about it. We never ever copy anything from anybody. We learn from everybody, but we never ever copy from anybody. Whether it's Stanford, MIT, whatever, they're good institutions, great institutions, for sure.
For sure, yeah.
They have done their bit. It's time for us to do our bit. And
I
that's
see.
why I insist that every faculty member here has to think originally. They have to have original thoughts. Universities, if you ask what universities do, right?
We covered a little bit of that,
Universities,
yeah.
In one sentence, they create, curate, and disseminate knowledge. Okay? So, creating knowledge and curating knowledge is what faculty members are continuously engaged in. Right? So, when you talk about integration, the kind of discussions we have at this university about integration, I'm so proud of that. That our humanities faculty members continuously challenge the tech faculty members on what does integration mean, what does interdisciplinary education mean,
Yeah.
right? And we have this dialogue going back and forth. A result of that is that our social science courses or humanities courses are all fresh courses which are minted completely fresh, and they are co-taught with a faculty member from humanities and a faculty member from tech together. They have to do tango. Now, why is that? Interdisciplinarity. You expect a 19-year-old kid to put two different, completely disparate
Yes.
set of courses taught, when you talked about electives. To fuse together and understand how they impact each other. When your faculty members from these two areas don't talk to each other, what nonsense.
Right.
It's not new. Engineering has always required that you take a few electives from social sciences or humanities.
Yeah.
We
Or
have,
language,
that's a,
yeah.
a requirement of UGC, whatever you
Right,
call
right.
it, right? What do people do? Check boxes. There is a course in sociology, there is a course.
Got it.
That's not what the intent is. First, the faculty members must have a critical dialogue between themselves. Do they understand each other? Do they understand how technology is impacting society? Do they understand how what society wants from technology? Do they understand this? Right? So, if the dialogue does not happen at that level, where faculty members themselves can understand each other, we have, in the last 100 years of university education, we have built beautiful silos.
Silos.
Right? Silos have been built with language of their own, so that
Oh, yeah.
The moment you start speaking that language, the neighbor
Yeah.
doesn't understand your language, gets put off and switches off.
Yeah.
Right?
And goes to their own friends.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you have to first demolish that. You have to have your own dialogue first. And that I'm so proud that at this university it happens like nobody's business.
How
faculty
cool.
members. And then we are talking about integrating it in courses. Now communication can be taught in a separate course, but a bit of communication is built into every technical course. A bit of ethics is being built into every technical course. That's how you do this kind of interdisciplinary education. It's not by just teaching a standard.
Disparate electives.
Exactly.
Wow.
So the kind of experimentation my colleagues do here
Yeah.
with this kind of ideas, it's a live wire intellectual place, and that's what I like.
Yeah, very clearly you do like. I can see it. This is an impassioned way of explaining. Hey, we do it like so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm proud of it. So it's this kind of integration. When students see it, they get it.
They do. Yeah.
Right?
And they're young and
Right,
bright
yeah,
anyway,
exactly.
right? They're 18. They'll get it
Exactly.
faster than you did it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Great to know.
So you have-
this is how it's happening. We're building a little bit of communication and ethics into all courses, all tech courses. This is great, which means all humanities courses, like you said, being co-taught by a
Absolutely.
humanities professor. And
There are
yeah.
courses on ethics of innovation. There are courses
Oh,
on.
that's very required, isn't it?
there
Very.
is there is a course called Technology and the Anthropocene. Right.
The era.
So find those kinds of courses. These are courses which have been minted by our faculty with so much deliberation, right? That what do 21st century engineering students need to understand about society? How do we build compassion in them?
I'm beginning to think now, after this conversation, that when we talk about, hey, the future is unknown, the exact words I started with, future is unknown, can tech guide us or like help us navigate this? It seems, yeah, tech can, but you'll still need those human qualities of emotional resilience, mental toughness, intellectual openness. Those are the things that will guide you too. So
Those are the traits which are time invariant.
Time
it doesn't matter.
invariant.
Yes.
yeah,
When at what slice of history you look at it, these were valuable always, and they will always remain valuable. And that's why you want to teach these kinds of skills to students.
a question came up. Like sometimes when you speak something and I'm like, hey, should I ask it just now or should I wait until the flow, dies down? Here's my question. Excuse me for interrupting. Couldn't edtechs do it too, in theory at least? Like once they found out, hey, those who really want the betterment of students, which are good universities, want to teach this, the students these certain skills, the time invariant skills. Could tech companies teach those skills through is there any way to do that?
I have huge reservations on that. I don't think that you can. These are things which are a continuous learning process. It's like it's in the air kind of thing. A university has to be that kind of place. When I'm sitting and having lunch, I go and have lunch with students sometimes, just like that, right? So do my colleagues. Or chai, right? And at that point, the conversation that you have with students, it's a live class. It's just a different kind of class. It's not where you necessarily are going through, this is the topic I have to cover.
The module.
Right, the module, right? And this is the outcome I'm expecting.
Yeah.
That's where ideas, questions, doubts come into young minds that are surrounding you, right? And then they have the opportunity to come back to you a day later or a year later, or even sometimes, a student got me, a graduating student cornered me and said, in the first year you said this.
You said this. Explain.
Right? And we had a conversation, a very nice conversation for 10-15 minutes about it, right? This is what is required for real education. A place which is safe and you are free to express yourself, your doubts, without worrying about what the other person is thinking or whatever. Get into a dialogue, get into thinking, not necessarily always looking for the right answer, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes questions of students we answer with questions.
Yeah,
right?
I can imagine that. Yeah.
Yeah, because you want the student to figure it out, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You just want to send them on the right path. This conversation has to be a 4-year conversation.
Which means that technology must, somehow service this environment, this air.
Correct. Exactly.
All right. All right.
So
I've cracked the code, have I?
There you go. And that's why I think that universities, brick and mortar universities,
Brick and mortar universities
are still required. They can get helped tremendously with EdTech.
Yeah.
Right? Free our time from doing all kinds of routine things.
Right, right.
So that EdTech can help us with, right? Also, the offerings that you do today, it's a university, we have, let's say we have, right now 52 faculty members, 100 faculty members tomorrow, whatever, right? But with EdTech, we can offer things which are worth having 500 faculty members, right?
Right, right.
However, I will still have those 500 faculty members because I want an ecosystem, an environment which is a live wire intellectual environment for young minds to explore to their heart's content, right? To question, and to debate and to discuss and have that freedom in a secured environment, right? Where they have no fear.
Yeah.
And then set them out in the world.
All right. Or like you said, that's why we live in universities.
That's why we live in universities.
Well, thank you, Prof. Thank you.
You're
This has
welcome.
been fantastic. This has been Professor Rudra Pratap, and extremely thankful to you, sir, for
Such a pleasure, Swati. Such
for
a pleasure.
these insights, for an impassioned conversation. I mean, I honestly did not think that I'm going to get this kind of, colorful, energetic, and truly insightful conversation. So thank you, and I'm sure everyone can make the best use of this. Rewatch it.